Welcome back to the latest episode of Graphic Policy Television, GPTV, and here we're looking at the third and final core rulebook for Wizards of the Coast Dungeons & Dragons role-playing game. So this book, the D&D Dungeons Mastery Guide, which is out this December, along with other core rulebooks, which are all behind it, the Monster Manual, Player's Handbook, and even I would say the starter set, provides gamers and particularly dungeon masters, with the tools and inspiration needed to experience the widely acclaimed Tyranid of Dragon storyline, which is currently the big story that's kind of running through Wizards of the Coast Dungeons and Dragons first group of releases and their organized play at stores, stuff like that. And first couple of books they've also released as far as campaigns. So the Dungeon Master Guide is whether a seasoned Dungeon Master or one just starting out, the guide provides everything you need to weave legendary stories. So key features of this is inspirational and easy guidelines. The Dungeon Master's Guide provides the inspiration and the guidance needed to spark imagination and create worlds of adventures for players to explore and enjoy. It also includes tips and tricks. Inside you'll find world-building tools, tips, and tricks for creating memorable dungeons and adventures, optional game rules, hundreds of classic D&D magic items, and much more. So the guide and the book's going to be out this December. We got an early look at it. Thank you, Wizards of the Coast, for hooking us up with this. So the big thing to first keep in mind is just like the Monster's Manual, just like the Player's Handbook, it's a nice, thick book. It's beautifully put together. The cover, the back, like tons of attention to detail. Retails for about $49.95. Yeah, for those that don't know, the Dungeons Master, your main role as the Dungeon Master is to run the role-playing game. You're the one who's creating the rules, to running your players through the scenario or the campaign, and coming up and figuring out pretty much everything that's going to happen. So if there's monsters, you're the one that's going to be kind of playing the roles of the monsters. You're the one determining what type of loot shows up. You're the one determining what towns look like. And Dungeon Master Guide is a great way for you as that person to help put all that together. You can say that the book, through the table of contents, is packed, beyond packed with stuff. It's over 300 pages of materials. So the first part of it is a world of your own, actually helping you build the worlds that you're going to have your players role play in and do their quests in, creating a multiverse, including planes and traveling between planes. The second section, part 2, is creating adventures, creating non-player characters, NPCs in other words, adventure environments, between adventures, and treasure. And part 3 is running the game itself. The Dungeon Master's Workshop, which gives you combat options, creating monsters, spells, magic items, stuff like that. And then there's Appendix of random dungeons. There's Appendix B is monster lists. Appendix C is maps themselves, and Appendix D is Dungeons Master Inspiration. So really, this is a how-to run a D&D game. The thing that's been great, I think, with all of Wizards of the Coast releases, starting with the starter set, is every single thing has been a progression for people starting out in the new version of Dungeons & Dragons, or just have never played Dungeons & Dragons before. So the starter set gives you the really basic stuff to get a party together and experience your first game. And from there, they released a Monster Manual and the Player's Handbook, which adds a bit more flavor and a bit more depth. They released 2 books so far for campaigns. They've got their organized play going on at stores. And then this is the final one, is this Dungeon Master's Guide. It's kind of that final piece of the puzzle. Again, kind of just ramping up the detail, the complexity, and the world building, allowing you to do what you want with their game system. Kind of flipping through this, it's like every single book, just gorgeous put together, amazing art, and here, this is again a fantastic book. Once again, from Wizards of the Coast, they put in some great detail. You can kind of see that there's tons of charts in here, easy to roll off, see what folks get. They've got tons of weapons here. We're checking out some of the magic items that you can give your parties, different properties, books, spell books, some inspiration for you. This is kind of a must-have. If your role is going to be the Dungeon Master for your parties and your friends' D&D game, think you kind of need to pick up this one to get the most out of the experience and run the best game possible. So, again, thank you, Wizards of the Coast, for hooking us up and giving us a copy of the Dungeon Master's Guide to kind of go through, show off, and talk about it. As always, you can start off with the starter set. Is the first set that Wizards of the Coast released. They've also got the Monster Manual, the Player's Handbook, and now finally the Dungeon Master Guide. Plus, they've also have some campaign books where you can get some pre-made campaigns to run for you and your friends. Everything builds off each other. I think they've done a brilliant job of the various releases for this latest D&D launch. Kudos to them. So, as always, this is Graphic Policy Television, GPTV. You can catch us every single day at graphicpolicy.com. Find us on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, etc., all at Graphic Policy. We keep it nice and consistent. Until next time, keep it geeky.